3.
All right, and of course, without further ado, we are ready for Mega Man Xtreme 2 by TempestMask1000. TempestMask, go ahead and show us a good time.
1 second, I think I'm wearing the wrong hat right here. While I get the right one, hello everybody. My name is Tempest. Some of you may know me as Steve. And for those who've known me much longer, you may know that Mega Man Xtreme 2, this game, is not just one of my favorites of the X series, but also my very first speed game. So before we get into logistics of what's going to happen, I'd just like to give a big special thanks to Midwest for having me bring this game. For those who don't know, you may recall that Focus Sight, our Sonic 06 runner, actually did this at Midwest Speed Fest 2020, and any percent X mission was one of the categories that was in the bonus run bid war between it and 100% Zero mission, which actually won out. So in a way, we're going to actually be able to show off something that you didn't quite get to see that year, and I'm absolutely looking forward to it. So yeah, and this is also going to be like my first Midwest Speedfest run, so again, very grateful today to be able to show off one of my favorite games of all time. But with that said, Con, how would you like to see some options real quick?
Sure, we love options.
Even though they're in Japanese. So, as per usual, I'm going to set the, I'm actually going to set the select button to weapon changing for X, because X does have weapons, and you either got to do that or you got to menu them. I prefer to set this to this for the first half of the run. We also got auto charge turned off and rapid fire turned on. I'll explain a little bit as we go through, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to actually try for a PB this run. So let's see if we can get our... I mean, this is the wrong X, but it'll have to do. Our blue boy to victory as fast as we can. Alright, here we go. Let's begin the timer. It'll start when I've selected X mission, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. And so we're off. This game takes place in between Mega Man X3 and X4, chronologically speaking, as you're seeing Iris show up alive and well here. And the game has the story where X and Zero are dispatched to Lagoose Island in the Southern Ocean. An incident called Erasure, dubbed by the public, has seen Reploids of the world suddenly turning motionless as if their bodies have gone hollow. And so the source of which seems to point toward this here location, where some new incidents showed up, and now our boys are doing Maverick Hunter things. So one of the things about Mega Man Xtreme 2 is that it's split into a few different campaigns. One more based on X's gameplay, the other more based on Zero's gameplay, and the other combining the two together and also giving us the true final boss. So in essence, we're going to play half of the game, but don't worry, no Sigma to be found here. I mean, it's an X game, of course there's no Sigma whatsoever. I mean, he should be dead by X3, right, Con?
I'm going to have to take your word for it as yes, because I have very little Mega Man experience, but, you know, you sound convincing.
Well, here's another convincing fact. This is Mega Skeletor. No, his name is actually Skullhead, but I love calling him that because I took a page ever since I started running this game from how runners like to call X3 intro boss Mao the Giant Mr. Fisty McGee or something to that extent. So this is just my little silly joke that I always like to bring up. Yeah! Shout out to He-Man. Anyway, this is Gareth. We won't have to fight him because Focus already took care of him in Zero Mission, so he's just going to show us some empty threats or something. He'd be angry that we doubted him very quickly. He believes he's fighting Mavericks and doing the world justice, but he's really just a Reploid being manipulated by his creator. That's the real bad guy, or bad woman in this case. I'll explain a little bit more after 2 Mavericks, but yeah, so you might have noticed that I'm playing the Japanese version of the game, which is Rockman X2 Soul Eraser. The reason for this is that it's faster in scrolling through text because you cannot skip through cutscenes, so this practically saves us a minute. And unfortunately, the loud sound of the text scrolling might sound a bit bothersome, but don't worry, it's the best we can do here. And here is Neon Tiger. Con, do you like Guns N' Roses?
Well, if you heard me singing during Frozen's run, where I did my best "Welcome to the Jungle" impression, then the answer is yes.
I missed it. That's amazing. That's beautiful. Well, I hope you're familiar with the song sounding a bit like My Michelle.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's apparent that with Capcom, some of the people that worked there might have had an enjoyment of Guns N' Roses, at least with the X3 devs, or composer anyway. You also may know that in Mega Man X5, the original translation of the boss names were all based on Guns N' Roses members, such as Axl the Red, Duff McWhalen, and the Skyver, and all them. That was because the translator of that game was the voice actress for the original Claire Redfield, and her husband at the time was a big fan, so he just made the suggestions and names stuck. Whoop! Oh, that was unfortunate. That tends to happen because those cannon dumbs, I believe they're called, kind of like the Mega Man Battle Network enemy, though they just give me a little bit of knockback, and I tried going with the Risty strat here just to try and get across them much faster, but you know, those things happen. Whoa, okay, that's not fun. I've kind of lost my meaning there. Let's try that again. So here's Neon Tiger's stage, and you'll notice that the architecture is a little bit different, but you're gonna have a sense of flip-flopping going on here soon, because what goes on with this game is some levels are more faithful to the original architecture, while others may take a few inspirations here. Get in the armor, X, thank you. A few inspirations here and there, but are more or less original as compared to the first outing, if you will. And this is mostly the case for X2 and X3 Maverick stages. So with the two X1 reps that we'll be seeing in X Mission, it's gonna be, we're gonna be stepping on familiar ground if you're familiar with X1. But here's Neon Tiger. He's not as bad as his X3 fight. He's not as aggressive, but he tries to be. So what I'm hoping to see more of is his Ray Splasher attack, because when he tries to dive with his claw and try to strike me, you know, it can get a little close, tight space, close, whatever the right phrase is here. Words are hard sometimes, but yeah, let's just get rid of him. Just a couple more shots. This is actually not that bad. For a pattern that did nothing but that, I'd say that was a pretty decent fight all in all. So I'm just gonna take a quick drink, and Con, if you got a few things you'd like to say right now, go right ahead.
Oh, I always have things that I can say, of course. Just wanted to take a second to shout out the Baguette Restream, who is restreaming Midwest Mini Fest in French. So you can find this French restream at twitch.tv/baguette_restream. They've been consistently restreaming our events for years, and we're very thankful to have their continuous support.
Shout out to all restreamers, by the way, always making speedrunning a much more accessible thing to everyone, one step at a time. Alright, so we've entered Volt Catfish's stage, and this is going to be the second time we're going to see a little bit of original architecture here. So let's just climb up this vertical section here, because you don't necessarily see a lot of them in Xtreme 2, but the ones that we do get can be a bit annoying, and this is no exception. So I'm just gonna try. Oh, no, that's not what I want. Let's try. Man. I wish I was going just a little bit faster, but it's not easy in this game. You might notice that if I could, I'd be doing wall jump dashes, but that's not possible in this game, and here's why. In Xtreme 2, because it was built off of the Game Boy Color interface, which didn't have any shoulder buttons, what Capcom decided to do with this title here was they set it to double tap dashing, which is an actual method of dash that the X games already had, but then you also gotta hold down and press the jump button to do what I call the ground dash. But with this armor part, we will be getting a very mandatory air dash, which is something you'll know from X2, but it also features the upwards air dash from X3. Armor parts in this game are kind of mixed around in a way, but this is the only one that we really need to get in the any % category for X Mission, and for good reason. We won't know what that reason is, though, until the later stage. In fact, the very last stage. But that was a very clean tidal wave skip, as I like to call it. It's just a little cycle where if you manage to get from one ledge to the next in time, you basically avoid a wave that tries to push you back. But that last room that I just exited right now suddenly starts to make those waves filled with electricity, and if they touch me when I'm vulnerable, oh, that happens. It's an instant kill hazard. And that doesn't usually happen. I'm usually good at clearing that room, but it looks like I had a little bit of trouble trying to wall jump with the damage boost in mind, which was already a safety method, but hey, it's kind of better than one possible alternative outcome that I would very much hate to show up at a marathon. So, if I died to a wave the moment I made contact with the shutter door in that very room, what would happen is I'd respawn but lose my ability to shoot pellets. It would make it look like I'm firing my buster, but X wouldn't attack, period. And that's kind of bad because it would force me to take a death in order to get it back. So it's fixable, it doesn't kill your run, but it's a big sort of time loss, and it's the kind of glitch that we do not like to see. But here's Volt Catfish, and he's a big meanie, so I will have none of that and instead use Neon Tiger's Ray Claw weapon, which he gave me. And with X3 bosses, they tend to have this little stun lock thing going on, aka Spark Mandrill Syndrome. Words again. And yeah, just stun lock him to death, just like that. It makes him much easier. I know some people might have a lot more trouble with him without his weakness. I know I most certainly do. So yeah, it's a bit cathartic this way. But yeah, we get his Tri-Thunder weapon, and now we're moving on to the next Maverick after one more cutscene. And this is where we get introduced to Bracana. Bracana is the second of what's called Soul Erasers, because Gareth introduced himself as a Soul Eraser, so this is the other half. And, yeah, she's a villainess. That's not necessarily a common occurrence in the Mega Man series when you think about it. Aside from Splash Woman from Mega Man 9, this is the very first actual villainess of, Mega Man X as far as the franchise chronology goes, from one release to the next. Because this did come out before X6 released, which was like a lot of time before Mega Man X8 and then Command Mission somewhere around that vicinity. So we didn't have Ferrum quite yet, who seems to get a lot more popularity with Mega Man X Dive, which is a cool mobile game. If you haven't tried it out, give it a shot. But otherwise, yeah, no. It's pretty cool, and we'll be facing her just a little bit later on. But for now, I need to get one more heart tank, or life up, as it's technically called. And the reason I get that and the one in Neon Tiger stage is because they're pretty much on the way up to the boss, so they're like a couple of safety measures that are really worth taking, in my opinion. Otherwise, yeah, let's just go through Launch Octopus's stage. Not much to see here aside from the... Whoa, that was a close one. Pufferfish that try to suck X in. It's not necessarily a fun time because it turns out that they can sort of drain your life, although I never really seen that happen in Xtreme 2. I know that's the case in X1, but yeah. So here's the Utoboros, a robotic sea dragon. He's weak in the head and the tail. You may remember this guy. We don't have to fight two of them because there's really no point in getting to the other one. It's not 100%, so you know. Let's just try and see if I can take him down. Just a little quicker if possible. He's never the most consistent one into foe that I gotta face when it comes to my running this game. Let's just get a little bit more. Come on. Oh. So I'm at low health. Oh wow, he gave me a really bad. Yeah, he gave me a really bad time here. But let's see if he can drop a little more health. It's not too bad. Just one more. Thank you. Okay. So now we're looking a little bit safer for Launch Octopus because, hey Con, how do you like calamari?
Ooh, calamari is delicious.
Well, then
yeah,
we're about to do
calamari.
that. We're about to do just that, as Focus likes to call this. So here's a strat which involves me using the Ray Claw first, which takes away his tentacles, and now he's left in a stun animation until he eventually gets out because there's no fast way to kill him, but I will be using his weakness, the Tri-Thunder, to try and damage him as fast as he can, because now he's constantly jumping and shooting the missiles at me, but that's good because I avoided death. He does become a little more annoying that way, but taking away the tentacles does remove his ability to use the life-draining tornado and some of his other moves too. So, yeah. Much more tolerable, but still potentially dangerous. Who'd thought? You actually might recall that you can do this in Mega Man X1 with the boomerang cutter, or I believe it's called, from Boomer Kawanger. Except they had to adapt it a little bit differently. Sadly, you can't do the same thing with Flame Mammoth's trunk, but I think we'll do just fine because it's one more Maverick stage. What's the worst that could happen, am I right? Oop. Well, I mean, I didn't want to slip off the conveyor belt. It's not instant, the fire is not instant kill, but it certainly can... He did that. What is with me and my vocabulary tonight? And, hey, we got a little slip into the lava anyway. Wonderful! Anyway, so I'm just gonna cross some more conveyor belts, but in the meantime, let's talk about DNA souls, because you might have seen me collect these weapon and health pickups that are shaped like a diamond but have a white circular center. That's the currency of this game, if you will. And DNA souls are exclusive to Xtreme 2, but are practically one of the best part system currency or methods, or, you know, just practically like the best part system that an X game has handled to date, in my honest opinion. How it works is you get 4 DNA souls within what I call a single cluster, 8 within a double cluster, mostly 16 within a triple, but sometimes the game gives you 12, and for every boss I defeat, that is 200. But sometimes the game also awards me 100, which is not fun for a zero mission run, per se, because one of the first things you need to do is get the... What the heck? Flame Mammoth, I know you're an elephant, stop reminding me, and dang it, we died. Alright, let's try something a little safety here. So I'm gonna soft reset the game and go to the continue screen because this game does have an autosave system involving the use of the metal platforms that are the actual checkpoints in this game. So it is very legal to rely on the autosave and get you back to where you need to be because unfortunately I would have had to start the stage from ground zero and that would have been a little too long for our liking. So instead, I'm just going to do that, and hopefully we'll be able to beat him this time. Good news, too, we're at full health, so not too much danger if I do say so, but the amount of times that Flame Mammoth did his little noise there, big shout out to Clipper. In case you don't know her, she did a lot of Mega Man X1 speedrunning, and one community joke known for Flame Mammoth is he's always saying to us that he is an elephant, so there you go. Anyway, I stunlock him with the Marine Tornado, and yeah, that's about it. But as I was saying with the DNA souls, so how the part system works is Iris's part shop gains new parts depending on how many unspent DNA souls you have total. Unspent. The reason for this is that the game doesn't necessarily count spent souls, so if you have to unlock a part with, say, 1,000 souls, which we actually do in this category, the idea is to conserve as much as I can and just use whatever toolset I have until we've beaten pretty much all the Mavericks, because by now I can buy them. And what exactly am I supposed to purchase, you might be wondering? Buster Plus 1 and Buster Plus 2. And so what this does is it makes our Buster much more busted. And I'm just gonna buy Saber Plus 1 for the heck of it, because it's at this point in the game that we now actually have access to swapping characters. First things first though, safety death, and down he goes. Alright, so this will give me my set of lives back. It's perfectly acceptable in this portion of the stage, and I'm also gonna menu real quick to the options and switch to character swap, which is called Scramble Change in this version. And swap us to Zero. Hi, Zero. You're actually playable in what's called X Mission. So that's the funny thing. This game kind of fostered the character swap that you may be familiar with. Normally, you might credit it with Mega Man X7, but this game actually did it first. So that's kind of funny when you think about that. In a way, it's kind of a Mega Man X 3.5, so I'd say it comes full circle. Also, you may recognize this stage to have some architecture similar to Sigma 2 and X1, but also some other robots as well. But with it comes the Fortress Stage theme remix from Mega Man X2, and a lot of people love that, so I'll just let you enjoy while we have Khan say some things.
Oh, absolutely. I just wanted to point out we have set a somewhat lofty impromptu goal to hit $1,000 before the end of my shift. And I would just love to point out that we are at $970, and we started out earlier than 700, I would say, before my shift started. So let's see, we got a couple more runs left. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 by the end.
Awesome, sounds great. And now we have Velgarder, the robotic wolfo, so if you want, you can get your dog emotes going, but this guy ain't a dog. Just being honest here. Oh, but he certainly wants to run into me. That's not good at all. So that's actually one of the things that can make him a lot tougher, because normally we like to Hadouken him if you're familiar with X1, but yeah, we don't have that in this game, so I kind of have to use the Busted Buster instead. I tried doing a little bit of damage with Zero and his Zero final attack, but you know, normally X is the main player in the from here on out, so yeah, that was a little unfortunate though, because his contact damage really hurts like a truck. Not much we could have done there though. It is whatever, but hey, we got through him the second time, so no big deal. Yeah! And now we move on to Fortress Stage 2. Now, if you've played this game casually, you may have bad memories with this one, and for good reason. It's the boss. So, we'll talk about him very soon, but right now, back to some more familiar architecture a la the X-Hunter base. And here's what's called the platform skip. One sec. Alright, good so far. Oh! Botched it just at the last second with the iframe. I'm gonna try that one again, though, but I'm gonna take one more safety death to once again replenish my lives. This has not been the best of runs, admittedly, but I hope you all are enjoying it regardless, because, again, this is one of my favorite games, and it just means a lot to me, so, you know. With that said, we're gonna try this once again, and platform skip allows us to skip the moving platform. It's quite on the nose, wouldn't you say? Anyway. Oh, Zero! What? That was an overshot. Okay. Can I please get it this time, game? The thing about movement and trying to go fast is that Butterfinger moments can happen quite a bit, so, you know. I guess you could say the game knows. And shout out to my friend LOZ Cards Fan who ran Castlevania for MS-DOS at one of the Midwest events prior. But that's a phrase he's often saying, so yeah. Shout out to Laz. Anyway, let's see here. Just go down this corridor. We got a little bit of instant death electricity, but there we go. And now just keep on moving. Let's see if we can get past these floating platforms here. Good stuff. Alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. No, 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 no. Come on. Now's not the time to hurt yourself. I know you kind of got used to the shock and whatnot, but you still explode. I don't want you to explode. Sheesh. I mean, you'd think that he's used to it by now, but I'd imagine it still kind of hurts, so I don't know what he's thinking. He's either confused or something's going on here. I don't know. What do you think, Con? Oh, probably away at the moment. No problem.
Oh, did you hear me?
Yeah, no, I did not hear you.
Oh, my bad. I said maybe a little confusion there, but you know what? You're a grid runner, nothing you can't overcome.
Hey, thanks, man. Much appreciated. Shout out to our wonderful host, by the way. Fun fact, you may actually recall that I did a little hosting for his run prior, so it's actually quite a very interesting flip-flop to be able to have him hosting for me.
The turntables, as it were.
The table, indeed. Alright, so here's Isaz and Suilo. Some of you may recall calling him the Sphinx, or sorry, them, technically, the Sphinx tank. And they're infamous for being such a huge screen cruncher. Yeah, it's kind of it's an original boss, and it's got a cool concept, but, like, the amount of space this guy took and the amount of lives they, were responsible for costing players really earned them a bad reputation. Luckily, we have the right kind of tools to take care of them efficiently, though. They can still be a problem, but with Zero's Saber Slash, you can actually, when it makes contact with the body, it pushes it back, so that's a nice little thing to keep in mind, if you will. Also, each head does take half of the health bar, so there's that too. Now, we're on to the final stage, and we're gonna skip through we're trying to scroll through this conversation between the Maverick Hunters and Gareth and Bracana. And how this is going to work is, for the rest of the game, I do not have access to character swapping anymore. So for the rest of the jaunt, we're going to be playing as X, and this will lead us to our final boss of the category, which will be Burkana. So, Khan, if you want to read some more things, now is probably going to be your last chance to do so.
You got it. So, wanted to shout out as well LPAV. So Midwest Speed Fest would like to send a special thanks to LPAV for providing PVMs, projectors, and cameras for our marathon since 2017. They are Minnesota's trusted video and audio vendor since 2003, and they've worked with such companies as Mountain Dew and Microsoft, so you can trust that LPAV will do it right the first time. Please support them by checking out their eBay store, which you can find in our Twitch bio, or by typing !LPAV in the chat.
Awesomeness. By the way, we got that section first try, which is wonderful. Definitely makes up for some of the flops that I had going earlier in the run. But in case you were wondering what the heck I was trying to do there, yeah, that's the only way to clear that little section right there. The game requires you to get the leg parts for X because you need the upwards air dash in order to cross up to that floating platform and then avoid the instant kill wave. It wasn't flashing, but it's still going to kill you in one hit, so yeah. Luckily, this portion of the stage is very short, and now we're at the boss chamber. A little reminiscent to X4, wouldn't you think? So we're going to face Burkana, and time will be on the final hit, so let's get ready for that right away. Otherwise, she's going to use the alphabet, so we hate the alphabet because she uses it against us. She's going to summon A and B spheres, and I want to avoid hitting either because she'll either turn the wall or floor into spikes. And I'll also have that button temporarily locked unless I hit another sphere or until she finishes attacking. Alright, a couple more hits, one more, and time!
GG.
Thank you, and my friends, that was Mega Man Xtreme 2 for the Genesis Mini Game Boy Color. This is a Game Boy. Oh well. Ta-da! There you go. So, and now let me treat you to what is probably one of the best faces ever. I love it. So that was Mega Man Xtreme 2 Any% X mission. Like I said, this is practically half of the game, but it's definitely a nice experience. It's a wonderful pocket adventure of sorts for the X franchise. Unfortunately, this was the last one released, but it still holds a major place in my heart because it was the first X game I ever owned. So it's just cool. It's just cool to be able to show this off. But yeah. Again, big thanks to Midwest Speed Fest for having me. In case you don't know, I've been doing quite a bit of volunteer work leading up to now, and while I haven't been found time to do so because I have started working a new job, I'm just glad to be able to contribute in this way, and I do believe this will be likely my last marathon run of 2021, so looking forward to seeing what the next year brings. It's almost kind of sad, though, seeing this one go. I want to thank everyone for making it such a wonderful year. If it wasn't for meeting you, getting all sorts of people throughout all of the volunteer work that I've done and all the other events I've just chipped into, I don't think I would have been where I am right now. You may not know that I actually had the honor of doing some hosting at SGDQ 2021, and that really helped, it really humbled me. It made me feel very proud of what I've been able to do thus far. I've only been speedrunning for a year now, so yeah, what a year, I say, what a year. So with that, I'm going to give some shout-outs to the Mega Man community. Big thanks to the Mega Man X community for us handful of runners that have been there to support me and, keep this game alive. Shout out to Focus, by the way, he is the world record holder for 100% Extreme. And yeah, if you'd like to join us, our Discord link can be found on the Mega Man RTA leaderboards. Just go to the little tab where you can find all Discord links to the different communities. As for me, my name is TempestMask1000 here on Twitch and YouTube. I also got a Twitter because my stream schedule is not static, so I usually try to post updates and other sorts of random stuff. But otherwise, it's just wonderful just speeding for you and being your gamer. And by the way, Helix, good stuff on the schedule reveal. I know we didn't have Gooby there, but just big shout out to Gooby. 910. He knows what I mean. Alright, everybody, that's going to be it for me. Coming up next, we have the wonderful Kiwami on Mega Man 8, so get ready for some wonderful PS1 gameplay and maybe some bad voice acting depending on which version being run. But yes, that'll do it for me, and as always, this is TempestMask1000 signing out. Ciao, Michi.
All right, thank you so much for your run, Tempest. For everyone out there watching, don't forget to stretch those Buster Cannons and feed your Robo Dogs. We will be coming up with the run, Mega Man 8, of course, coming up shortly. So get those stretches in, and we'll see you here in a few moments.